Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this week's new episode, of course, of the Xbox Lunch Break Special. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and we have an outstanding show. I had to pull an audible because, my God, we have some numbers that have come in for God of War, for Call of Duty. We're going to be talking. We're going to have some fun. That's what you're supposed to do in these game shows. You're supposed to have some fun. We're going to be talking about God of War versus Sonic Frontiers. Who wins the sales battle? I got a nice, friendly knees-giving bet with, of course, Kay Asante, which we talked about on Primetime Gaming. He thinks there's no way God of War is outdone by the Blue Bomber 2-1. I think so. Listen, right now, and real quick. This show is about 80 minutes, give or take, just about an hour and a half. I'm going to take a 30-minute break, and then I'm going to come back with a special edition Sonic Frontiers episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special. I'm going to be giving you my opinions. I was very fortunate enough to get it early. Walmart sent it out, and, well, I got the game on Saturday. Or was it Saturday or Sunday? It was one of the days. I got it a couple of days early, and I've had a chance to record some footage. I've been playing it. I'm about 5 hours in. The embargoes have been lifted. Metacritic has it out there at currently, I think it was like 37 reviews, and it's sitting at a 7.3. I feel that this game is going to hit like a 7.6, maybe 7.8. Listen, if you like Sonic, tune in at 2 p.m., 2 to 3. I'm going to be giving you full-on gameplay. I'm going to give you my impressions. We're going to be talking about it. It's just going to be me, so obviously it's going to be a lot of Boomstick talking, but I want to get it out there. I figured, you know what, it was an opportunity because I had a chance to play it, not actually review it. I'm going to give you my impressions because I want to spend at least 20 hours before I would give it a review. But we got to talk about a lot of Xbox stuff. I mean, for crying out loud, not only are we talking about the family plan that has been announced by Xbox in the UK, we got sales that have been posted for Black Friday for the Xbox Series S. We have so much to cover. It's bonkers. And Phil Spencer, folks, out here in these streets talking about bringing back some OG franchises that have people like Pong Soul weeping with excitement. But let's get into the introductions. Web Dave, listen, you don't have a show a guest this week, but you got a big one next week. How the heck are you, brother? What you been up to?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. And, just playing some games and,
how dare you play games and have fun?
I know, man. I know. Pretty excited that Boom, my friend, the influencer, gets copies early and get. Oh no, I'm just teasing, man.
I wish that was the truth. I wish that was the truth, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that's really what it is. They're like, oh man, we gotta get this to Boom quick. Love it. Can't wait to watch that show, man.
It's great to have you here, brother.
Thanks.
We definitely appreciate you being a part of today's show. We're going to get into it. But Fuzzy Belvedere, what's going on, brother? What you been up to?
Oh, just been playing some games as well. Going back to my old favorites like Division 2 and
Nice.
Horizon, Forza Horizon 5 and stuff like that, and some GT7 on the side as well. But man, just so many interesting things coming to the news front this week. So can't wait to get into these topics. So
I got to tell you, you're right. Every time the weekend comes, you figure it's going to be a bit of a lull. And then we start to get stuff like Xbox Era out there dropping bombs. We're going to be talking about what they mentioned yesterday and what Jez Gordon from Windows Central has confirmed. But we're also going to get into, I mean, like I said, there's literally so many topics to get into. I don't even know where to start, but I do want to go to, of course, the crazy one. Crazy Lou, what's going on, brother? Thank goodness you're here. Good thing you reached out because of the time shift. You might have been an hour late or an hour early. Oh, you're muted. Now you're back.
Okay, now I'm back. All right. Oh, yes, I am an hour later. It's amazing, man. Like saving changes, yeah. But hey, man, boom. Earlier we were talking about Gotham Knights. And I'm gonna tell you something though with the update. Oh man, I mean, I jumped into it yesterday and I started to play it. I was like, wow, this is a lot better than to start playing it. So yes, I am enthusiastic to play it and to keep on going with it. I'm gonna have a lot of fun right now since it looks a lot better. It's moving a lot better. And man, and like always, happy to be here, join you guys, and let's have some fun. Woohoo!
Let's you know what, let's get right into one of the bigger stories. Let's talk Call of Duty, because obviously it is going to be, without doubt, the best-selling game of 2022. I bring it up not to talk about the CMA, but not talk about the UK Commission or even the FTC, which they should be rendering their at least verdicts or their opinions on whether or not. I think that the EU Commission is the 8th, and I would not be surprised if they move to a second phase, which is what the CMA did and what the FTC has done. I think that'll be announced tomorrow. But again, you never know. Maybe they don't have a problem with it and they just let it go through. But we will see. The FTC is supposed to make this is actually how it's, the way it was explained to me by Hogue Law is they don't approve the deal. They basically don't try to sue Microsoft to stop the deal. So we may not hear anything so much from the FTC. And I believe that's supposed to happen in the middle of November, which is where I'm expecting some information to pop up next week. But why are we talking about all of this? Why are we talking about Activision Blizzard? Well, folks, thanks to Charlie Intel, which is the #1 Twitter place to get all of your Call of Duty information. Well, they put out a post 3 hours ago, and holy matrimony, ladies and gentlemen, listen to these numbers. According to Charlie Intel, posted on their official Twitter account with the blue check mark that they didn't have to pay for, they actually earned that. They say this: breaking, Modern Warfare 2 has surpassed $1 billion in sales through its first 10 days. It is currently the fastest selling Call of Duty of all time. This beats the record set by Black Ops 2 in 2012, which it took 15 days to reach the 1 billion mark. And here's even something that's even more interesting. Over 1 billion matches, online matches, have been played. And I also have more stats that they put out there. Let me just bring up the sheet over here. The newest records build on Modern Warfare 2's momentum. And again, this comes the way of Charlie Intel, but it was originally posted from Santa Monica, California, and the name of the place is called the Business Wire. And they go on to say, Activision's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 continues to smash franchise records as the new blockbuster has crossed 1 billion in worldwide sales through its first 10 days of release, when it came out on October 28, 2022. The new mark tops the previous franchise record set 15 days prior by Black Ops 2 in 2012. Now, these are this is some of the bullet points that they have here. Modern Warfare 2 is the highest grossing entertainment opening of this year. So think about that just for a second, folks. Think about this for a second. It is the highest grossing entertainment of the entire 2022 campaign. That's huge. Modern Warfare 2 is the #1 top-selling opening in franchise history, topping 800 million in sell-through following its first 3 days of release. $800 million in 3 days. And they go on to say on November 16th, the run continues with the release of Call of Duty Warzone 2.0. Web Dave, let's talk about it, brother. I mean, this is bonkers. Obviously, we knew that Call of Duty was going to be big, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We just didn't know how big this was going to, because you got to remember, they're coming off of Vanguard, which is considered a flop by many, right? It's not that great of a game. It went back to World War II. A lot of people didn't like the multiplayer because it had modern weapon attachments in a World War II era. It just wasn't a good representation of what Call of Duty is normally known for.
Right.
And boy, oh boy, they seem to have hit the ground running. And I got to tell you, Dave, this one thing makes you wonder why PlayStation has been really trying to drive the point home about Call of Duty, because they are the recipient of a lot of this money because, well, they have the marketing rights, and that's going to go the way of the dodo bird when this deal is done. What are your thoughts on the numbers, dude?
I'm thinking that Microsoft, when they are looking at these numbers, are thinking every time somebody puts Call of Duty in their system,
Insert cash or select payment type.
is what's going to happen for them. They are like, we'll take your money no matter where you play it. Huh? Oh, man. That's why they want it. They want it for the money. I mean, come on. I mean, why wouldn't you want to keep it everywhere? Everywhere.
Yeah, and you know something, I really think that's an important point to drive home, Dave.
It's money.
You know, for quite some time, we have seen PlayStation do what PlayStation has done since this was announced: cry and embarrass themselves, lie to regulators, lie to the public, continue to do Sony-like behavior, which no one seems to have a problem with in the Sony camp. And this proves that Call of Duty is going to be treated like Minecraft. It is going to be kept everywhere because, quite frankly, it makes money unlike anything. I mean, the only thing you could... I don't know if there's actually anything, Dave, that you can compare this to.
No, I mean, not especially not this year. Now, I mean, Elden Ring has done fantastic, but it's been out since the beginning of the year.
Yes.
And obviously, you know, this is just now coming out. But you got to think, if it's already made $1 billion and it's been out, what, a week? If that, then it's already making that kind of money. I mean, you know, Microsoft will be making their $70 billion back in no time with games like this. And the thing is, Call of Duty, as great as it is, and it is fantastic, you know, they have so many other IPs that are going to be continuously bringing them in money. I mean, oh my gosh, you know, they're going to, well, they've got, they'll have Candy Crush, you know, that'll be just, I mean, endless stream of money. So these deals are so good for for Microsoft, and definitely, I mean, you know, would anybody expect it to be this big? Maybe not, but I mean, it seems like they really hit the mark. You know, they really went after it this time. They went like last year's and probably last year's kind of semi-failure, which, I mean, really, it was like number 1 game of last year in sales. So you really can't call that a true failure. It just didn't maybe get up to the standards that they would expect. This will probably surpass the standards or be the new standard for Call of Duty in the long run because of the amazing sales, and the reviews are great, and it looks fantastic. What was so funny though is you think back, all those PlayStation guys that were like, you know, well, Microsoft is going to end up buying this. I'm not buying Call of Duty. And they're just like those same guys, or every single one of them are like a couple of weeks later posting all these scores and reviews, and you end up buying it anyway. Well, isn't that interesting? And they'll continue to get it when no matter who owns it. Go ahead.
It's funny because we have the guy Jackoff in the in the chat. Funny name. He says, not according to IGN, which they rated it a 6.0, which I disagree. But there's also some people
that was IGN Korea. That was one of their divisions.
Yeah.
The other IGN outlets did not rate it that low.
Yeah, I mean, Andy B. Drumming said that he even though the sales are good, he didn't dig the campaign as much. I mean, again, that's Andy. Thanks for the opinion, brother. Definitely appreciate that.
Of course,
I disagree. I'm really enjoying the campaign, but I've also haven't gotten as far as a lot of people. Most people have beaten it already. My problem is called Gotham Knights, and now I'm playing Sonic Frontiers. There's literally, folks, I put it this way: when you produce 5 shows per week, good luck trying to find time to actually play games, and that's what I'm struggling with. But it's not the worst thing in the world to have problems, but
No.
Mark Mann in the 05 asked a question a few minutes ago. He said this, which is interesting. First of all, our Mark Q Man 05, welcome to the program, brother. Hopefully you are subscribed, and if not, consider subscribing. He says, will the success of Call of Duty over the last week, do you guys think that it will hurt the acquisition? And the answer is no, because the thing is this: it's an IP. It's the same thing. It's the same mentality when Disney bought Star Wars or Disney bought Marvel, right? It's an IP. Is it a highly rated and successful IP? Sure. Does that mean that Microsoft can't own it? No, they're not doing anything illegal. What they're going to do, I think the sticking point here, folks, isn't the success of Call of Duty. I think what the problem would have potentially been for Microsoft specifically is taking this IP and putting it on an Xbox-centric platform, meaning that you would be forced, regulators would look at it as, even though I don't agree, because I think we've seen Sony do this more times than not, they continue to funnel people towards their brand with deals. Look, if all of the deals that they have with timed exclusives, I mean, the list is as long as my arm. And Microsoft isn't going to do that because Microsoft likes money. And like Minecraft, where you can play on everything, including your Sears washer, you're going to be able to play Call of Duty. And I think that is really the sticking point. Fuzzy, let's go to you, brother. These numbers are ridiculous by any stretch of the truth. Do you feel that the success of Call of Duty does this kind of maybe bunch up the acquisition in any way? Like, people are starting to ask, or do you feel that this is just an IP that does really well, and it's going to be an IP that is on basically everything?
Well, I think with the language that Microsoft is using as far as wanting to keep this everywhere, the success of it isn't going to hurt the deal as long as those regulators that are looking at it are, either listening or at least taking the word of Microsoft as far as what they've done, like with Minecraft, and that they'll do the same. So I think it should be more of a benefit in the sense that, okay, well, as long as you continue like what you're saying and you're going to keep it everywhere, then this shouldn't be any problem. It shouldn't be a hindrance for Sony, because Sony will still have the opportunity to partake in some of that $1 billion sales in the first week type of thing. So I think overall the sales are going to, I guess some people will try to correlate them as far as like possibly, being a hindrance for the deal. But since Activision doesn't seem to be interested in breaking the deal, like I think the only way it would hinder the deal is if all of a sudden you heard Bobby Kotick say, hey, you know what, we don't want to be bought anymore. So, and there's too much money, too many lawyers, and too much of that the downside of them going back to being or trying to remain independent, that would
Fuzzy,
but
you know that there is a clause that if for some reason, just like with Microsoft, if the deal doesn't go through, they have to pay like $3 billion. There's also the clause in reverse that if they try and do something that hinders the deal from going through on their side, they would owe Microsoft billions of dollars that they do not have. Just so you know.
So that
would happen.
That's the only possible way I could see this being a hindrance. And like you said, with having that almost like a anti-exit clause kind of thing, I think that pretty much negates any talk of that being an issue and stuff. But man, it's awesome to see. I know there were a lot of people saying that they refunded the game and that, PlayStation customer service was saying the same thing. Lies. So obviously it's doing better than expected for even from, I guess, Activision standpoint. So that's a good sign, and hopefully they continue with this Modern Warfare trilogy. Like let them go ahead and do Modern Warfare 3 in like the next couple of years as well, and see where it goes from there.
I got a question for you. Do you think with this game making $1 billion, is it going to affect the buy or not?
No, that's what we just said.
No. Okay.
No. And do you think that? I mean, Just imagine how much money they would have made if all these people didn't cancel.
No, but what I'm saying is
Joke.
that
It's a joke.
aren't the regulators going to grab into that and be like, "Hey, this game made $1 billion." So I'm trying to say though, they'd be like,
No.
No, again, it's just an IP. You know, it's a popular IP. It's a it's an IP that makes a lot of money. But here's the thing: the problem is that success isn't guaranteed, and a lot of what's going on with Microsoft specifically in this deal is, you know, Activision is before they made this money. Remember, they made $1 billion, but they probably spent just as much. They spent a lot of money on this game. They had 8 studios working on one IP to get it out the door. So I don't necessarily think that it's going to somehow hinder the deal. Like I said, it just makes Microsoft's investors even more salivating. First, someone's mic is really loud. I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, somebody's mic is messing up.
Yeah, that's yours, Chris. Crazy.
Is it mine?
Yeah.
How can I fix that?
Yeah.
No, but I think, remember Sony or PlayStation made a post not too long ago about how well that title did as far as sales for them. So from a regulator standpoint, with Sony even having to come forward and say, hey, it sold really well on our console and, you know, it's on our platform still. And, you know, the other guys are saying that they're going to keep it here. I don't think from a regulator standpoint that should be a good sign more so than anything, because there's still the opportunity for Sony to earn money off of this title and not have to worry about that foreclosure or partial foreclosure.
Is it still going? Is it still getting feedback, guys?
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Sorry about that. I made a boo-boo. Let me just get this. Hold on a second. Sometimes I want to punch. You ever want to punch yourself in the face, like live on the air? Well, that's what I wanted to do because
not really. Not to mention.
Yeah, no, I want to. Hold on, let me fix the footage because I pressed the. That's why I hate having so many things open. Coño. All right. Anyway, listen. back to the program, folks. Listen, I want to get Crazy Lou Gaming's opinion on this, but before I do, there's 2 things I want to announce. First of all, I want to talk about the super chats that came in. Hargeet Chani drops the first very generous super chat of the day of $10. Hargeet, what's going on, my brother? Listen, I'm going to DM you later. Let me know if you want to join us on Wednesday. We are a little light because people are still on vacation. So if you want to jump in, we'll be talking. I don't even what the hell are we talking about. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. I write so many shows, but if you want to join us, email me, brother, and let me know.
Game related, I bet.
Oh yes, I'm sure. He says this after dropping a very generous $10 super chat. The entire discussion is so odd to me. Call of Duty is just a work of art. If ABK stops making it, does that destroy any platform? ? The whole argument is pointless. This isn't lumber or steel. It's a game. I mean, that makes a whole bunch of sense for sure. Drawn TJ drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Good morning, Boom and panel. What's up, brother? Crazy Lou, let's get your opinion on this, brother. These numbers are ridiculous. And when you consider that Call of Duty has been around for over 20 years, and in 2022, it has been confirmed by Charlie Intel and Business Weekly that this is the most successful Call of Duty in the history of the franchise. I mean, Microsoft is walking into the bank when they with this purchase. This is, like I said, when you consider the entirety of ABK, when you consider what they're going to do with Blizzard, it's printing money. When you consider what they're going to do with King and their mobile aspect, specifically with Candy Crush, it's printing money. And now basically Call of Duty, one of, I don't know, 100+ IP that they have in Activision, Blizzard, and King, is the number one selling in the history of the franchise. It's a big deal. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, I would say something. When this game came out, I was really excited to get it, purchase it, and I sat down and started to play it. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm in love with this Call of Duty, the way it plays, the way it moves. Not only that, detail, the high detail in this game is beautiful. I mean, when I see these numbers, I said, nah, I think they should have just made a lot more, because seriously, I think this is one of the best Call of Duties I've played in a long, long time. I mean, everything about it is just wonderful. The campaign, the story, graphics, it's just gorgeous. And so if it's gonna make good, yes, of course it's gonna make good, because really these guys did put a lot into this Call of Duty. I mean, really, I am in love with it. It's wonderful. It's awesome. The multiplayer is freaking awesome too. It just feels good. It feels good to be back to the way Call of Duty has to be played. It's just fantastic. So yeah, I'm impressed with these numbers. I just thought it would have been a lot more though, but I guess they're gonna continue to grow little by little.
Yeah, it's definitely a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for Microsoft on a multitude of levels because, like I said, one of the things that like Umbra, Infinite Umbra, talks about. He's a greedy gamer. He wants more from Microsoft, and I have to join his party because I agree, and I think that when you see the grand success that's going to be coming to Microsoft from this deal, when you look at what they have. And that's the thing that's interesting because if you look at the way Sony does things, and again, I don't want to. This is not jumping or attacking Sony in any way, but we when you talk about one, you really got to talk about the other. Okay, these two platforms, meaning Xbox and PlayStation, are going in different directions up and down of an escalator. Where I believe Microsoft is on the upswing and Sony is on the way down. And it's not because Sony's games are crappy. I mean, God of War is got 150 tens. It's going to be probably the highest rated game of the entire year. It's probably going to win Game of the Year at the Keighleys. It's going to win Game of the Year awards left and right. No one's questioning the quality that comes out of Sony. The problem with Sony right now is the way they treat their fans and how they nickel and dime everyone for everything. Whereas Microsoft, and this is an important part of this conversation, Call of Duty, the success of it, is going to generate billions of dollars for Microsoft. All of the Blizzard games, billions of dollars. Specifically Candy Crush for King, billions of dollars. Now, what does that do for us? Why should we care, ladies and gentlemen? We should care because with the amount of monies that is coming in, what that does is drive down cost for Microsoft. Operating cost is driven down because of so much money they're making. Their investors are making more money. Their salaries are being raised across the board in Microsoft and Xbox. But what does that do for us? Why should we give a shit? We should care because that makes Game Pass go up $1 or $2 or maybe even $3. Because instead of doing like what Netflix does, we're raising it $6. And you're like, well, shit, what am I supposed to do? I like Netflix because of X, Y, and Z. I have to have it. And you just have to take the $6 hit per month. And at the end of the year, that's $72 more a year that you had to spend for something that last week you were paying $6 less for. And that is the important factor here. The more money Microsoft makes in deals, specifically when you look at ABK, is going to keep them raising prices too extreme to a minimum. I mean, and again, we're going to roll right into we're going to segue right into the family plan that was confirmed for the UK and what that equates to. But before we do that, folks, Marlesco was one of the few winners. One of the winners from Friday's Mrs. Boom's birthday bash. We had 6 winners, total of $300 in gift cards. Everyone got their gift cards, and he reached out to me over Xbox Live, and he asked me to re-roll it. So someone in the chat today, whether you're a channel member or not, is going to have a shot at winning a $50 Xbox gift card. I will make that announcement towards the middle of the show. And a shout out to Marlesco for being not only an awesome member, fan of the show, but he also is very generous that he didn't want it. He wanted to push his winnings forward. So someone in the chat today is going to get a shot at a $50 Xbox card. But listen, let's talk about those numbers, gentlemen. It was put out there, of course, by the detective one, Idle Sloth. I mean, that guy is just, my God, he just never misses. He put out there, and I sent it into the DM, and I have the picture in front of me. Folks, has been announced officially by Xbox UK, that Game Pass Friends and Family, as it's being called, is £21.99 per month. And this is the benefits. Ultimate benefits among 5 friends. Open to players outside of your household. Enjoy hundreds of games together. Every player uses their own account. Play at the same time on console, PC, and cloud. Always something new to play. And then, of course, there is Game Pass Ultimate, which is that for them is £12.99 per month. And of course, we know what Ultimate is. We know what regular Game Pass for console is. But we got to talk about the family plan. And before we actually get into the family plan, this master plan of Microsoft, of specifically Phil Spencer, is now coming to fruition, folks, because I have it on good authority that when you talk about Black Friday, what comes to my mind is like Best Buy or GameStop or specifically Target and Walmart. Those are the two bigs. Well, folks, Microsoft is going to drop the hammer this fall in a couple of weeks. Because according to Idle Sloth, and a big shout out to him because a lot of the information I get is from him. And not only does he put it out there on the socials, he also drops me all the information in the DM. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. We have an announcement from GameStop where they're going to have the Xbox Series S console brand new for $249. Though we also have confirmation from Walmart and Target that they're going to have the same console for $10 less. Both superstores are going to have the Xbox Series S console for $239.99. Costco is also going to have it as well for $230. I mean, listen, folks. They're already winning hearts and minds with no AAA bangers because 2022 is like a dried up desert for first party. And you know something? It's okay. They still figured out a way to make money. It has been a proven fact time and time again. Game Pass continues to sell. I want to go first to Fuzzy on this. Fuzzy, when you see this plan that is unfolding in front of us, this group of gamers here, along with many of the other panels I have been talking about this since last year, saying that when they can get this console under $250, and then we learned earlier this year that friends and family were coming, it was only a matter of time before even the most diehard Sony fans we're going to have to eventually convert because the value proposition is too much to ignore. Under $300 next-gen console that is extremely capable, that actually plays more games at 120 frames per second than the PS5. And I'm not talking about 2-to-1. It's almost 4-to-1 how many games you can play at 120 frames per second on the Series S right now compared to the PlayStation 5.
But it's a potato.
Yeah, it is a potato. That's right. According to some journalists, Microsoft, they've been sitting around a big round table of developers saying, we have to get Microsoft to get rid of this console because it's jamming up the industry. I want next gen. What are your thoughts of this plan? A $240 console, 5 people on Game Pass Ultimate, and 2023 looks like madness.
Basically, you can have your entire, household or your friends that, you room and boarded with when you were going to college. You can each get a Series S and have this friends and family plan and spend less than $1,000 and all be in the same game at the same time. Like it's the without even talking about the price of the S, which I'm glad that they're doing these deals, or even like the Call of Duty bundle deal with the holidays right around the corners, around the corner, Target and Best Buy and places like that. There are definitely going to be some deals to be had. But the friends and family plan, like the biggest thing now is like I have two sons, and they both have their own PC. They both have their own Series S. Even with game sharing, it is only for between two consoles. So I wind up having to buy two copies of games. I game share with one son, and then I buy the game for my other son. So that way we can all play in the same game at the same time. This will definitely help reduce that to some extent. But then the money I'm saving on not having to buy that additional copy, I'm probably going to wind up buying some of the either the season passes or some of the cosmetics and things.
But that's
like that.
what they're banking on, dude.
Mhm.
You see, you just literally hit the digital nail on the freaking head, because if you ask anyone that has Game Pass,
Mhm.
when you consider what you're getting for your money, people are more inclined to spend the extra money on a season pass, on a weapons pack, on DLC, because they got the game ultimately for free.
Yeah.
And that is huge, dude.
I'm so hoping that they have this in time for Black Friday or in time for the holidays. Like I'm I'm still saving up some of my Microsoft Rewards points, and I got money set aside for
Dreadpool.
when they got the
Dreadpool
cards.
bought one and is buying a second one, dude. A second Series S with points.
Nice. So it's like there's just so much value in that that whole program that even if you're not in the same household, the fact that it's open to friends outside of your immediate family type of thing, as long as somebody wants to just handle the bill, whether you PayPal each other or Vimo or whatever, I think you can't really beat that type of bargain. And like I said, when you're saving that kind of money, you can put it towards other things. Now, whether it's into other gaming stuff, I mean, if we're gamers, more than likely it's going to go into more games. But it definitely opens up things as far as whether you want to put it more towards savings or household stuff or whatever other bills you have. That savings is definitely going to be a welcome thing, and I'm looking forward to it. Like, fingers crossed, I'm hoping it's here pretty soon, because I want to stack up as many years as I can and get that locked in for me and my sons and stuff like that for a while. But man, I almost wish I was in Ireland right now. But yeah, I'm hoping that Microsoft opens this up here pretty quick for the holidays. And if they do, I think that's when they break the internet. It's like, oh yeah, friends and family. Oh, everybody chips in $5 and you're on, access to 400 plus games. And yes, I understand you don't own those games, but then if somebody decides to own the game, you're getting it at a discount and you're saving what, 15%. And most of those games stay in Game Pass long enough where you'll be able to finish them. But if it's an ongoing game, by the time they're ready to pull it, it's probably on an even deeper sale, and you can put the money towards the season pass stuff, like I said, or like you were mentioning, like weapons packs and skins and things like that. So man, it's fingers crossed it's here soon. But man, I'm pumped for this thing. I can't wait till it's here in the States.
Yeah, real quick. We're not going to talk about it because Hogue Law, Richard Hogue. If you don't know who he is, you should follow him. He's an acquisitions attorney. He actually commented WCCF Tech. Now this is a site, folks, that I normally used to pull information from, and they got a little sloppy, and they continue to be sloppy once again. They have an article that we're probably going to talk about either tomorrow or more specifically on Wednesday's primetime gaming. If I can get Hargeet Chani to come on, I think I'm going to save this BS article. According to WCCF Tech, which they're blue check marked, and I don't understand. This is reckless journalism at its finest. Activision Blizzard merger with Microsoft could fall apart, according to insiders. Now, that's what they're saying. And here is what Richard Hogue. And again, if you're going to listen to anyone, it's Richard Hogue. Hogue Law is the guy you want to listen to, and he was extremely brutal. He says this, folks: Not a single insider was directly quoted by WCCF Tech or the New York Post, not even anonymously. This is bottom shelf reporting of known conditions. Public statements are different from consent decrees, and the company sure would love it if regulators just blessed the deal. Yeah, I mean, it's I gotta give a shout out to Hoglo, but again, we will cover this on Wednesday specifically. But let's bring in, because I know it's gonna be someone's gonna be asking to check. Oh my God, you see that the deal's not going through? It's going through, folks. The deal is going to go through, and I'm going to tell you why the deal is going to go through. Because is anybody a fan of RTS games? I mean, like RTSs. I think a lot of people do, specifically Punk Soul. Like I said, he's crying in delight and joy. It's like Christmas for him because StarCraft, according to a story we're going to do next before we get into Kratos versus Sonic, is apparently coming back thanks to Phil Spencer. But let's get Crazy Lou. Are you there, sir? Maybe he stepped away for a hot second. Let's bring in Web Dave. Dave, let's go for it, brother. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, this deal is when it eventually lands here in the States, and I think that this is going to be announced before Black Friday, just in time for, of course, these $239 Series S consoles. Again, the writing is just on the wall, and it seems like it is really this picture of Microsoft potentially moving into first place, or at least giving Sony and Nintendo a run for their money in gaming, is right here for us to look at. What are your thoughts on this? How big of a deal is this?
Oh man, it's freaking huge. I mean, it's the easy access. It's the way to get more people in. I mean, if you have people that are like for example, my household, I have me that has Game Pass, but my son, my daughter, my wife, and my son's friend, none of them have Game Pass. So they're all going to get on the family plan, which means that's going to go from 1 Game Pass subscriber to 5. So it's going to add 4 more people that are signed up for Game Pass, because that's the way it works. And that's awesome, because that means their numbers are going to grow, which means it's going to be more beneficial to the service, and more people are going to have eyes on games, and people are going to want to put more games in there because they want to get their product in more people's hands. It's going to be great savings to everybody. I think it's fantastic. I'm thinking we probably will maybe get the announcement at the awards show. That may be one of those little drops in the nuggets. They, saying either a date in December when it's going to happen, or, starting tonight, you'll be able to sign up for, because they could do a shadow drop. That would be so awesome. Like during the show, everybody be like scrambling to start signing up for family plan. That would be awesome. So
yeah, I look, folks. I know people make fun of me because I talk about real life. I get it a lot. You'd be surprised. Some of the comments in Twitter, I mean on YouTube specifically, where you get like a T with no picture. The public is just not usually very nice. Not everyone, but there are some terrible ones in there.
Right.
Folks, real life is something that we have to talk about in gaming, because gaming entertainment is the first thing to go, to give up if you are someone that's struggling financially, right? Everyone believes that. I think why this is important, Crazy Lou, is because I don't think when you have the means and you hear about a deal like this, you're excited because, well, it's money you can save ultimately. But here's the thing: if you're a struggling parent, if you're a struggling single, whether you're a parent, whether you're living on your own, whether you're living with a bunch of people in a flat, because that's how it is. Like if you live in San Francisco, their rent over there is ridiculous. So 5-6 people are living together. We take for granted how important it is to put food on the table, pay your light bill, and everything like that. And one of the things that frustrates me as a human being is when I hear the stupidity of man. I see people people shouldn't be playing games if they're worried about putting rent on, paying their rent. I didn't understand that gaming was supposed to be exclusive to people with money. Why can't I be excited about playing a game if even if I'm struggling? What if I'm working 2 jobs and I'm barely making ends meet because you know what, life sucks right now. I shouldn't have fun. I should simply just go to work back and forth like a robot. No, that's dumb. If you think like that, you're a moron. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And I'm not even sorry if I offended you. You are just a moron if you think like that, and you're small-minded, and you need to go look in the mirror and ask yourself some questions, or at least get some help. But Crazy Lou, when you look at Game Pass, the family plan specifically, it's going to be $25 here in the States. That's $5 per person, up to 5 people, including yourself. No one shares benefits. Not if I'm playing, you have to get off, or if your brother's playing, your wife has to get off. No, it's everyone gets it's basically everyone gets their own Xbox Ultimate sub, and you're playing across whatever you want to play. Maybe your kids are playing on the tablets, maybe you're playing on the big screen, maybe your friend down the block is playing on his pewter, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that the amount of games right now are near 500, and it's going to be $5 a month. And when you factor in Microsoft making next generation affordable for anyone with $230, $240, it's a ridiculous deal to think about.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a ridiculous deal because, dang, it's $5 per person. That is nice, man. I mean, seriously, especially nowadays, like you were saying before, real life situations, we gotta save money. It's a good thing that we are saving money, and we're trying to find out ways to save money. And with this deal coming up with 5 people, it's just $5 each to have Game Pass Ultimate. That means you can play it on PC, you can play it everywhere, tablet, and all that stuff, and you also use the cloud. That's pretty fantastic. That's actually no better deal than that can come through. That's excellent. And with the whole people say that put food on the table, stuff like that. What? I mean, guys, this is for entertainment. This is something you gotta grab to release stress, to release everything that you've been going through. Because I mean, I'll tell you something though. When I come home from all the work I do and all the stuff I go through, I love to sit down, grab a video game, and have fun. And so I will also love my friends to come out and hang out with me, and if it's a good way to pay less and I can gain more, heck yeah, I'm up for it. Because like I said before, I don't get why people support this generation by saying, hey, if I pay more, I get better than paying less. This is the first time I'm hearing people say that, because basically if I go out to a store or anywhere, I'm always looking for a way to pay for the product less than pay more for it. I don't know if I'm wrong with that, but that's the way our life is. We're always looking for a way, to slither through just to pay less. And that's the truth. And we're trying to look for a way to save money. And that a deal like that is excellent. I mean, that gets more people to game and have fun just the way you're having fun too.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I think you're really onto something. Some days it's tougher than others, and there are times where you just want to unplug. You want to sit in your comfortable chair, grab a pizza, grab a drink, maybe smoke a cigar, whatever you want to do that makes you happy. Sit back and put on your favorite game. And you know something? Maybe that favorite game is something that's in Game Pass, which there's a lot to be had. I mean, and sometimes you just want to just drift off into the world you're playing. And I think that one of the things that really makes me smile as a human being, not an Xbot or a pony or anything else these dumb people come up with, what it does for me, especially when you talk about Microsoft, is they allow for everyone to be a part of the conversation. I think that gets lost in the console war stuff. I don't think you have to have a high station financially to enjoy gaming. I really don't. I think gaming should be for everyone. That is a mantra that Microsoft has been driving home for years. Gaming is for everyone. You've heard Phil talk about that. You've heard Aaron, you've heard Sarah Bond, all of their bigs say that gaming is for everyone. And they're not wrong in saying so. Gaming is supposed to be for everyone. And I love the fact that regardless of financial station, you can be a part of the conversation. I think that's incredibly important. Shout out to Bionic Wolf in the chat. Says, sell a ton of Series S consoles this holiday, get a tidal wave of games in 2023. Going to be a great year for Xbox, and he is not wrong. But listen, let me catch up with some of the super chats, folks, and we will move to the next topic. Drawn TJ drops several $5 super chats. So thank you for the generosity, Drawn TJ. The first one, he says, everyone hit the like button. I'm excited for Warzone 2.0 and Halo Infinite Forge. Yeah, the winter update is dropping. Is that tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow that it's dropping, which is awesome. I'm just not gonna have time. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give it the old college effort. For God, there's just so many freaking games. I don't know what to do with myself. The second super chat, $5 says, do you think they bring back Blur, the car racing combat game, and prototype to go against Spider-Man? I think we're going to see the return of many defunct or delisted IP from Activision because, well, you know what? I mean, who wouldn't want a new prototype? I would like that rebooted, to be honest with you. That prototype was freaking awesome. I didn't like the second one as much as the first one, but my God, such a good game. He also says in a $5 super chat, the friends and family plan in the U.S. is 21 after tax. I gotta see. I don't know what it's. I mean, if it's cheaper than $25, now that's ridiculous. I'm going to tell you that right now. I heard from a source. Can't display who. I can't tell you who that is. That for the United States it was going to be 25. We will see. I would imagine in a couple of weeks. But Highlander 001 drops not one but two super chats. The first one, a very generous $10 super chat. He says this, and I love this story. This is a great story, folks. I purchased two Xbox Series S consoles, one for my son and another for a friend, by just using points. That is Dreadpool, who's, by the way, in the chat. Shout out to you, Dread. He bought one. He's buying a second one with points. Think about that. And this is what's even more bonkers. Listen to this. He says, I still have over $600. I'm assuming $600 worth of points left in his account, even after getting two Xbox Series S. And that is just doing Bing. That's doing your monthlies. That's Xbox rewards, folks. Don't sleep on that. I think I have like $30 just sitting in my account. I don't hold it like people. I can't sit with my hands in my pocket. So when there's 30 or $40 in there, I buy a game. I can't help myself. Highlander 001 drops an additional $5 in the chat and says, that's 600,000 points left in his account. Oh my God. I posted a screenshot to Twitter. I love the Xbox reward system. Yeah, absolutely, brother. And Drawn TJ drops an additional $10 and very generous super chat. Says, I'm excited to be joining you, Boom, Wednesday, and StarCraft coming back. Let's go. Yes, that's right. Drawn TJ is going to be a guest on Primetime Gaming.
Nice.
Both Kay Asante and Everborn Saga are still on vacation. Well, Everborn's on vacation right now. Kay Asante is going on a family vacation, so I'm excited for him to see his family, and we're going to have a few guests come in, as well as the regular crew that you know and love for
a BoomStick. Hey, Boom. So like Highlander seems like the extreme couponer is what he is, man. Like somebody who does those extreme coupons, going through and shopping, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're getting that feedback again on your mic.
Lou, you might want to hit mute, man. Just hit mute when you're not talking. Hit mute.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Just when you're not talking,
some kind of interference, dude, in the cord. Maybe it's not a big deal. Happens.
Yeah, it's no big deal. Listen, let's see. Let me just make sure there's no super chats. Okay. There's Marlesco. Love doing the Microsoft reward points. Yeah, shout out to Marlesco in the chat. He won one of the $50 gift cards, and he wanted me to re-roll it, which I will do in a little bit. But I do want to move on to a topic that I think I think this is really cool, and I think that this really does set the stage to what a lot of people have been asking. What is Xbox going to do with some of the ABK quote unquote legendary IP? Well, Idle Sloth, once again, Mr. Detective himself, put out there an article from Wired.com. And this is what Phil Spencer had to say, folks. And according to Idle Sloth in his tweet, says Phil Spencer wants to revive iconic StarCraft series and says he's excited about getting to sit down with the teams. And this is a quote directly from that article from Phil Spencer. Being able to think about what could happen with those franchises is pretty exciting to me. Now, I have the article in front of me, and look, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, if not 100, there's potentially hundreds of IP that Microsoft is going to become owners of when this deal is done. Expected to be signed in potentially March of next year. Listen, StarCraft is a legendary IP. Now, I've never played StarCraft because I don't play on PC, and that's where StarCraft lives. But considering how well Age of Empires is doing, how well a lot of the RTS franchises of old are now coming back in a big way, it only makes sense that they would eventually want to bring back StarCraft. StarCraft, if you remember, StarCraft Ghost was supposed to come out. It was supposed to be like a third-person shooter. I hope they revive that. That is something that's like vaporware that never came. But we saw article after article on this going, oh my God, a decade, maybe 2 decades ago. I think it was supposed to come out on like was it the N64? Oh my God, it's so old. I hope they bring that back. But Dave, where do you personally feel something like StarCraft coming back does for this purchase? Like this is a big deal, dude. Like it is a really, really big deal. I love the fact that Phil Spencer is talking about this.
Oh,
He's getting people excited that have been asking for Blizzard to bring this IP back. And while Blizzard wasn't really run that well, pretty much why ABK sold, because they were bleeding from every company. What are your thoughts hearing Phil Spencer talk about bringing back StarCraft?
Well, Phil loves games. I mean, he's a hardcore gamer, and I think it's great. He's also mentioned when the acquisition was first announced, the things he would like to see. And he mentioned like Guitar Hero and Skylanders and all kinds of, it's like, whoa, what? Oh, okay, And there was several people in the chat that are saying, I'd rather them focus on brand new IP, and I get that. I mean, there's definitely, I love new IP too, but if you can revisit something that's tried and true, maybe update it or give it something, new, like current, or bring it something back that that's beloved. I don't know, like Banjo Kazooie that we all want, then just saying. But like that was a game, like the StarCraft stuff, that series was huge. I mean, StarCraft, Warcraft, all those kind of games are big. And for them to bring that back would be great. And it's not saying he's just going to throw every resource and, we're not going to make these games because we're going to do this. They're going to have a lot of different people that could maybe branch out on a smaller team. I mean, you look at the team, was it the Ninja? Oh my God, I can't think of their name. What is the name of that company that's
Ninja Theory?
Ninja Theory, yes. They're not a huge team. Obviously, they've gotten bigger, but I mean, and they're still making some amazing games. So you think you get a size team like that, a couple hundred developers and work on something it's just more games for us is better for everybody. So that's the way I look at it, man. I think it's great that he's talking about it. I think it's great that he's going to sit down, and obviously if you have somebody that's like been a slave to Call of Duty for years, having to work on the, like the 20 teams they have working on it, and then now they're saying, okay, cool, here's your reward. We're going to let you make a game you want to make. And then we'll have you maybe rotate in and do some Call of Duty and then come back and make a game you want. That's just going to make them excited at what they do as far as game development. And I think it's going to make creativity go up and through the roof. And they realize that. Microsoft knows that they've got a lot of talented people out there that really they're as fired up about bringing back some of these franchises as they want them. And they're gamers too, like us, that want these iconic games or games that are maybe it's due or time for an update or it's still around. It's like, that would be good now, or this would be good this way. You know, maybe it's a game as a service, or maybe it's a, you know, turn it into a multiplayer type game. You know, who knows? But those
Yeah.
kind of things are definitely a possibility that, you know, sky's the limit once this deal is done. And the thing that really makes me more excited than anything is when this deal is done, they're not done.
Yeah, no, they're not done.
Who's
They're
next,
gonna take
Phil?
they're gonna take some time off. But yes, we did hear that after the Bethesda deal was done, people on the board was like, "Who's next? What's next? Who are you acquiring?" And that's a big deal. But listen, Fuzzy, I want to bring you into the conversation regarding StarCraft, but I want to give some people some background information of what StarCraft is. If a lot of people don't even know what I'm talking about. The original StarCraft was released in 1998, while its sequel, StarCraft II: Wings of Liberty, came out, my goodness, 12 years later in 2010 with a standalone expansion called Legacy of the Void, rounding out the saga in 2015. A remastered version of the original StarCraft was then re-released in 2017. So since then, there has not been anything. But according to the Wired interview that I have in front of me, they asked if Xbox had any plans for StarCraft going forward. And this is what Phil Spencer had to say. He says, first thing I would say is I'm not allowed to make any decisions about what's happening at Blizzard or Activision or King. So this is just kind of talking and thinking about what the opportunity is. But he goes on to say, I'm excited about getting to sit down with the teams at Activision and Blizzard and King to talk about back catalog and opportunities that we might have. So I will dodge the question other than to say it's not something I can actively work on right now, but the thought of being able to think about what could happen with those franchises is pretty exciting to me as someone who spent a lot of hours playing those games. Listen, obviously, he can't make any decisions, Fuzzy. Right. It's not a done deal. Is it going to be a done deal? Well, depending on who you ask, I say that it's a high 80% chance that it is, because again, they're not going to change the market by owning these IP. They're simply going to just be making more money, and well, they're in third place. And some when you look at the overall where Microsoft is in brand recognition, Sony's number 7 in the entire world. Microsoft is like 23rd. So I don't think that they go from 23rd to number 1 because of this acquisition. What are your thoughts on Phil talking about older IP?
Oh, it's awesome because he did something similar earlier on after the announcement, as far as like some of the stuff that was in Activision's back catalog. So now looking more so at the Blizzard stuff, I think he even hinted at like something he would like to see, because like you said, he can't really make any orders or commands of Blizzard as of yet, because it's not a Microsoft owned company yet. But there's was it StarCraft Ghost, which is more of like a third person
I hope that comes back, dude. Oh my god, that would be so awesome.
So there's so much in their back catalog of stuff that they could bring out, and it would be a not only a surprise, but a awesome return to form as far as for some of these teams, just for the fact that there's everybody's focused on Call of Duty, and it's like, you do realize Activision has like 5 other big titles and stuff. And yes, I know Overwatch 2 recently released, and it's got some mixed reviews, although people are still playing the heck out of it. But it's one of those things where the laser focus on Call of Duty just kind of overlooks all of the opportunities that they have. So if they could get this deal done here between now and June, which I'm figuring sometime early or the earlier half of next year, like March, let's say, if they get the deal done, then they can start working with those teams. I mean, some of these teams probably already have some prototype stuff already in the works. Like, we already know that Blizzard's working on like a survival, like hunting game or something like that, and that there's a few other projects that are in the works behind the scenes. But these are all before Xbox even gets the keys to the establishment. And it was kind of a similar deal when you look at like Obsidian. Obsidian had other games in the works as far as stuff that they were going to either work on or would love to work on if they had the funding. And I think Avowed is one of those projects. So when, Phil, visited the studio and they started talking about negotiation of acquiring them as a, first party studio, I'm pretty sure they saw some of these projects as potential future, games that could be released or that they could, help fund or greenlight and give them the resources that they need to get that to make that a reality. So I'm pretty sure Blizzard's in kind of that same deal where, StarCraft, they've kind of shelved it for all this time because they're so busy focused on like Overwatch 2 and or Overwatch in general and World of Warcraft. Now, if they get the Microsoft funding, it's part of first party, they'll be able to get the resources that they need to work on multiple projects or to not have to worry about the risk of returning to these older projects and have, someone they'll be like, hey, go ahead and do your passion project or bring this IP back in the vision that you would like, let us know what you need as far as resources. Our door is open and go from there. So yeah, bringing StarCraft back or even StarCraft Ghost, I really hope they do that. And, fingers crossed this deal passes through sometime between March and June of next year.
Yeah, I actually agree. I actually, like I said, I think this deal does get done in March. I think we had a breaking story that we're going to talk about specifically from Jez Corden and Xbox Era on Primetime Gaming, along with this new report of really bad reporting from WCCF Tech. Like I'm actually embarrassed for them that they would put this out with no sources. That's crazy. But we will get into that on Wednesday evening. I do want to announce the winner of that $50 gift card. That goes to Doom Reaper in the chat. Yeah, brother, you got picked from the picker. Congratulations, Doom Reaper. Either reach out to me on Xbox or DM me on Twitter, and I will get you that. I have an American code. It is a U.S. code here for Xbox for $50. You were picked. You were spit out by the picker. Doom Reaper, congratulations on that. And that comes the way of Marlesco, who's in the chat, who was kind enough to pass his winnings forward or put back into the community so someone else could walk away with the winner. And of course, the winner again is Doom Reaper in the chat. So shout out to you, brother. But Crazy Lou Gaming, I don't know. Like for instance, StarCraft really, it doesn't knock it out of the park for me because I wasn't a player. Now, will I play it? Yeah, I'll give it a shot if it comes back. I'm not a PC guy. I like RTS, but my favorite RTS of all time is something that a lot of people didn't even know came out. That was Aliens versus Predator on the OG Xbox. That is literally my favorite RTS. I played it. I beat it with all the races. I loved that. Maybe I would find a way to enjoy StarCraft. Where do you feel StarCraft as position potentially coming back, thanks to Phil Spencer in this interview?
I'm gonna say something, Boom. I'm super excited for StarCraft because I'm a big fan of StarCraft. I love playing RTS games. I mean, you can ask Boxing Buggers, which we played a bunch of times, Age of Empires. I love playing RTS, and I'm super excited that they're actually making part 3. And it's something I mentioned before, and I was like, dang, they need to bring back StarCraft again. And not only that, Fuzzy took my idea. They need to also make that third-person game, which is StarCraft Ghost. We need that game. We need it to be finished because, I mean, look at Warhammer. Warhammer had Eternal Crusade, wasn't it? That was a third person. That was such a fun game. Such a fun game. And they can do so much stuff with StarCraft. I mean, seriously, StarCraft is a huge, huge game. And when I heard that he's actually hoping for more of StarCraft to come out, I got super excited. Same thing with World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft needs a lot of love, too, because, I mean, Fuzzy, you remember how World of Warcraft was back in the day? I mean, people even got married to World of Warcraft. That was insane. Yeah. They need to bring those games back. I mean, just listening to him and reading that article, by saying that, hey, StarCraft needs to come back. I said, thank you. My wishes are coming true. I mean, I'm heavily excited for that game. I even have part 2 installed on my computer. Once in a while, I jump on and play it. I really love that RTS game, and I'm really happy that they're really working on another one. And also, like I said, bring Ghost. We need that Ghost game coming out. We need it. We do need it.
I mean, again, that's something that is vaporware at this point. I would love to see them bring back StarCraft Ghost, even if they take what the original ideology was behind the game and just make it into modern consoles. It would technically be a new IP. It would be an Xbox exclusive. That would be a freaking awesome deal. But listen, folks, we have surpassed 350 people here. This is a relatively new show. It's only been around for a couple of months. We are growing the audience. So if you are someone that is finding the channel for the first time, I do stream live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I do work on the channel 7 days a week, writing and pulling articles and getting guests. It's a lot of work, but I do quite enjoy it. We're trying to grow the audience. We are on the hunt for 12K. We're about 600 and change away from 12K. Again, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. That would be awesome if we can hit this by the end of 2022. It's been a triumphant year for the channel, and we would like to round out the year like bookends. We hit 10K in January. We'd love to hit 12K by the end of the year. Hopefully we can have a resurgence of new subscribers. That would be pretty awesome. But let me just catch up on the super chats before we move to a topic that it's fun. It's not meant for console war shenanigans. It's simply just throwing out a question that I did a thumbnail for, which I thought was hilarious. But Dreadpool in the chat, welcome Dreadpool. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says he currently has 373,000 Microsoft points, which equates to just over $400. Wow, dude, that's bonkers. We also have, Doom Reaper. Wow, who actually won? Says he's been a channel member for 2 months, so thank you so much for that. With all of the classic IP Microsoft is about to own after the ABK deal, they need to acquire a studio called Night Dive. They're amazing at bringing old games to modern machines. That's pretty. I'd never even heard of them. I'm gonna look into that. That's awesome. Highlander 001 drops an additional $2 super chat, and he asks this honest question: does Jim Ryan even play games? The answer is no, he doesn't. If you've ever seen him hold a controller, he looks awkward in doing so because he's not a gamer. He's a businessman. That's why he's not a good speaker either. He's definitely not a good speaker. Sometimes they should just get someone like maybe Herman Holtz to talk, because when Jim talks, sometimes he doesn't say the right things. But no, he's not a gamer. Like I said, I don't know if it's funny, and no disrespect to Jim Ryan. I don't know if he's ever held a PlayStation 5 controller outside of a PR ops situation. Oh, let me hold this for the camera. Oh, and put it down. What is this? That's probably about all he's
It's
ever
vibrating.
done. Yeah, it's vibrating.
You remember
what is
that
happening
picture
here?
they released from his home console, where they showed a picture of the PlayStation 5 in his home center, and it was upside down. It was laying flat upside down. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. They took that picture down pretty fast.
Definitely not good. We lost Crazy Lou for a hot second. We'll get him back momentarily. But Drawn TJ drops another and very generous $10 super chat and says THQ Nordic is making a spinoff of Command and Conquer. They've rented the IP. It's called Tempest Rising, coming 2023. If you need to read the article, they throw shade at EA for neglecting Command and Conquer. Wow, that's disrespectful. But again, listen, I see what they're doing. I love it. I love the disrespect. But folks, as we get Crazy Lou back in here, let's talk about what I think is going to be very interesting to watch. Yeah, there you go. Sonic Frontiers is releasing tomorrow. So is God of War. Now, God of War, as we know, is getting a crazy amount of tens. It is everything I think anyone that played the original 2018 game wanted from the sequel. It is as big as the original, potentially bigger. I know there's a lot of people fighting in the streets about, oh, it's just DLC and whatever. Listen, what do you care? It's a new game. It's a part of this series that we've never seen before. It's going to continue on the story of what made 2018 great. So, DLC or not DLC, it is what it is. This has been called by some an addition to the story that's as impactful, folks, as Blood and Wine was for The Witcher 3. Now, I told you my thing with The Witcher 3, it doesn't resonate with me. So I just never, after 3 times I gave up. But I did hear from many people that Blood and Wine is by far considered by many the greatest DLC of all time, specifically for The Witcher. And that's awesome. So I'm very much looking forward to God of War. I'm going to start that tomorrow. And I got to figure out how to play games because, my God, there's just too many of them. But a couple of months ago, I had made, and some people would consider this a foolish man's bet with Asante. I said publicly that as great as God of War is going to be, and I knew it then, it's going to pale in comparison for sales versus Sonic Frontiers. Now, I know people can be like, well, that's just dumb. That's console war. No, it has nothing to do with console war. It happens to do with the fact that Sony's biggest problem with their first-party IP isn't the quality. It's their fans. Because the same ones that are on Twitter talking about, scores and talking about, console war shenanigans, the truth of the matter is they don't buy games. Hell, they don't even play games. They play Twitter. So they'll talk about God of War, but they won't actually go out and buy it. So my bet with Asante was I have a strong suspicion that by the end of the holiday, Sonic Frontiers is going to outsell God of War 2-1. And I believe that is to be true. Just on a mathematical basis, God of War is only releasing on the PlayStation 4, PS5. Where Sonic Frontiers is releasing on the Switch, the Xbox, the PlayStation 4 and 5, and PC. So I think that just on that finite details, I think it wins. But I think that the problem with God of War isn't the quality; it's their own fans. Their own fans don't support first party. That's the problem. Anyone that owns a PlayStation 5 might go out and get this game, but I don't think it's a lock. I think the diehard fans like us, like me, who really appreciate what they're trying to do at Sony Santa Monica, and they have accomplished it, that's who's going to buy the game. I don't think it's going to be the common folk who buy 3 games a year and not buying God of War. They're just not. They're just not going to. It's not mainstream enough for the diehard gamers. Spider-Man is something that will sell 20, 30,000, a million copies because it's Spider-Man. But just for fun, Web Dave, what are your thoughts on this? I mean,
Yep.
It is just based on the numbers aspect that I talked about. Can Sonic potentially outduel Kratos this fall for the holiday season?
So the question is, are you crazy or not? Just
Well,
kidding.
yes.
I'm
Am I
just
as
kidding.
crazy as Crazy Lou? That's the question of the day.
I don't know about that. Oh, just kidding, Lou. But no, the the big thing is, like you said, okay, look, God of War, it's getting great reviews. It is going to be a big seller for the console. There's going to be a lot of people that buy it, and I believe it's both PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. There's still a lot of people that have PlayStation 4s out there. A lot of people are going to want this game. So it's definitely going to be now 2-1. Double the amount? No, I do not believe that it's going to do that. Sorry, Boom. I would just
That's okay.
But
that's all right,
does
brother.
it have the ability because it's on all those systems plus the Xbox Series X, Series S, Xbox One? Is it on the Switch? Is it going to be on Steam? Is it going to be? Then yeah, it definitely has a greater, I guess,
broader reach, if you will.
Right, exactly. And is it a $70 game?
Mm-mm.
No, because you bought it. in fact, you've been playing already. In fact, you can show up after this. We're going to be
Yes.
showing Sonic, which I'm hardly wait for that. And talking about your first impressions on it. So that's exciting to me. But yeah, but the opportunity is definitely there for Sonic, you know, to make a lot of money, because reviews are mixed, but there's a lot of people, and I think as it more gets out, are really going to to pick that up. There's no Legend of Zelda coming out this this holiday for the Switch, but a new Sonic game coming out that has kind of I guess a outlander area of that's Breath of the Wild type, great graphics. You have to do like some certain things to get into these levels to play. So it's kind of, like getting into a dungeon type thing. But I think that definitely has a lot of appeal, and will probably be a lot of people wanting to play it, especially on the Switch. I mean, I think it's going to be good for everything, but I think the Switch, which has a huge, huge base of people that have those consoles, and and if this is one of the better Sonics that's been out in years, and it's new, I think it definitely has a chance in the long run, or at least I'd say maybe after the holidays, when the dust clears, let's see what happens. But I definitely think it has a chance. But this is in this discussion, like you said, it's not a fanboy thing. There is absolutely nothing taking anything back from God of War and how great it's going to be, and how great of a game it looks like it's going to be. I haven't played it yet. Looking forward to playing it soon. So, and same way with Sonic, haven't played it yet. Looking forward to playing it soon. But I mean, it's the numbers. When you look at the raw numbers, how much does this cost? How much is people are going to spend in the long run, or when the dust settles? Like 5 months from now, 4 months from now, when we take a look. Okay, here's how many this sold. Here's how many this sold, taking into account every platform that it's available on. Then yeah, I think the Sonic has the opportunity, especially because of the availability of consoles that it's going to be on and places it's going to be able to play, that it can definitely has a really good chance of being of getting greater numbers than God of War. But with that said, God of War is still going to make a ton of money, and Sony I don't think is going to be disappointed in that at all. Unlike they were when the first numbers came out, for the game at the beginning of the year. Oh my God, you know what I'm talking
Horizon.
about? Horizon, exactly. Forbidden West. It great game, but it had some issues when it first came out. So with those issues, it didn't quite. I mean, in fact, Sony really hasn't talked about those numbers even to this day. They still really haven't, and they usually are pretty braggish.
They're pretty bullish when it comes to the numbers.
Yep.
When they're high. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And of course it's a pack in now.
Now it is. Yes.
But then so is there's also a God of War pack in. So that's that may help too. So anyway, that's what I got on that. Like I said, I think that it definitely has the possibility, and I would not be surprised if you have a set of knees on your wall that are going to be somebody else's. So yeah, I think you might win your bet. We'll see, right? I'm interested.
I mean, listen, it's all fun and games.
Yes.
It's for virtual knees. I took a fool. I threw myself right on the sword. But I have a strong suspicion that because of Sonic 2, the film that came out in the beginning of the year, and the Sonic animated show that's coming on, that's releasing in a couple of weeks.
And Sonic 3 is announced. Sonic 3 is in production.
It's everywhere you go. Like, just Sonic is, the kids are infatuated with the brand, are infatuated with the character, and listen, there are a lot of Nintendo Switch consoles out there, and I think that this is going to be where it's going to sell the most. I think it sells even more on the Switch than it does on PlayStation and Xbox. But I think it's going to be a big deal. Real quick, Elemental PO, generous friend of the program, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, makes sense if Sony would probably use the UK sales to bolster success for God of War instead of the US. Yeah, I think on the onset of it, I think God of War sells like 2.8, 3 million copies. Maybe they get up to 5 million before the holiday, which through the Christmas holiday, that would make sense. But I still think Sonic is going to sell like gangbusters because of everything the character has done this year specifically. This year has been big for the brand, for Sega. The character is everywhere. If you go to Target and you're walking through looking at the kids' clothes, Sonic is everywhere. You look at the toys, Sonic is everywhere. This game is being advertised everywhere. God of War hasn't really been that, it's put in our faces now. Like I turned on my smart TV, I had Call of Duty. Now I have a little ad for actually God of War running. When you turn on your TV, like, oh, where does this come from? But it's going to be fun nonetheless. Fuzzy, let's get your opinion on this. Can the Blue Bomber outdo the dad with the big axe?
My answer is yes, but I'll also, sorry, Boom, say I don't know if it'll do a 2-to-1. That is, I mean, it is quite possible.
That is a full man's bet. I would even agree with you there.
But I think the thing that hurts the 2-to-1 is that they're going to also be doing that pack in. So with them doing a God of War bundle, that's where I think you lose the 2-to-1. But I think it stands a chance for the same reasons you were saying, for the fact that Sonic is going to be on all the platforms. So no matter what platform you own currently, you will be able to play Sonic.
Yeah.
But when it comes to God of War, if you still have a PS4, great. If you were able to secure a PS5, great. Those are the only two places, and it's kind of a miss, at least in my opinion. Although, yeah, I'm no CEO or anything like that, but it's kind of a miss to me that they didn't launch this day and date on PC. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. They want to make the console owners feel special, but to me, like if you saw how it did, or how the 2018 God of War did on PC, and that's for a game that's 4 years old. So they didn't get, the millions of sales that they were, I guess, hoping, because it is a 5 or 6 year old game at that point, or at least a 4+ year old game at that point. But if you go ahead and do it day and date, and the PC community is going to do another like Homer Simpson, mod of war, I guess you could say, type of thing, then I think that's where they would be able to say, okay, before the end of the year, we've hit, 8 million in sales, or we've hit 10 million in sales before, January 1. But I think with it only being on the consoles, I think it's one of those things where they'll hit 4 million. Will they hit 6 million? I don't know. But I think Sonic stands a chance of doing 5 million plus between all of the platforms. So that's where it edges out in comparison to God of War. But, maybe next time around they'll do a day and date with PC. But yeah, I think both of them are definitely going to do well this holiday. I think if you're a PlayStation fan and God of War is not on your buy list, then what are you doing, type of thing. But I would say at least have it on the to buy list after you get the gift cards, or you catch it on sale or something, if you're not going to get it day one. But yeah, Sonic, if you're a Sega fan, or if you're a new fan of Sonic due to the movies, or your kids are, yeah, you definitely want to have Sonic on your Christmas shopping list as well. So 2 strong titles for this holidays. I think Sonic edges it out just a bit, with PC being kind of left in the cold for God of War this go around. So that's all I got.
Listen, if I lose this bet, it's because I took a full man's bet. But I'm telling you, folks, God of War is going to be a masterpiece. It's called spade a spade. Okay, maybe it's not your game. Maybe the Sony games aren't your thing. I hear you. I'm not going to argue with you. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But the biggest, again, I will say this, I want to stress this. The biggest problem with Sony selling their first-party games has never been the quality. Their own fans hang their brand out to dry because all they do is talk. They don't play. Some do, yes. Most do not. And that's the biggest problem. You heard Jim Ryan himself come out and say, our fans aren't enough. He said that for a reason. But let's get the final point and we'll get everyone out of here. Crazy Lou Gaming. Am I joining the crazy club? Have I gone off a cliff? Am I hanging myself out to dry and giving my knees away for the price of free to Kay Asante, who was in the chat because I said publicly God of War gets outsold 2-1 for Sonic Frontiers? What are your thoughts on my craziness?
Man, I agree with you. I think it's going to be sold 2-1 because I'm going to see something. A lot of people have been waiting for a good Sonic game. I mean, how long has it been since we got a good Sonic game? It's been a long time. I think the last Sonic game that came out did not do as well. So this one's getting good reviews and people are going to like it. I totally agree with you. It's going to outsell God of War 2-1. Why? Because in PlayStation side, when it first releases, usually it sells 3-4 million, probably 5 most tops. And then when you get a discount, you get more buys in. And then when it comes out to PC, you get a lot more. But yes, Sonic is going to go right through them. And they're going to sell really well. And yes, brother, totally agree with you. It's going to sell 2-1, especially on Nintendo Switch. Heck yeah, that's going to sell.
Now, I'm going to say that I like what he's putting down, but this is Crazy Lou, and he's not called Crazy Lou for nothing. So listen, it's evenly split down the middle. I got to catch up some super chats, and look, real quick, I'm going to throw it up on the screen for you to see. Kay Asante says, "I'm coming for those knees, Mr. Boomstick." I love it. That's good stuff. All right,
we shall see. Counter-Strike. We shall see.
We shall see. It's going to be fun, nonetheless. God of War is going to be an amazing game. Like again, I congratulated, and I mean, I'm nobody, but I congratulated everyone over at Sony Santa Monica publicly because they deserve it. This game is living up to everything anyone wanted. If you're a fan of the first, and just proves that Sony's first-party studios, specifically Sony Santa Monica, man, they're just so talented. It's crazy. But Don Otaku drops a $5 super chat and says, if you take 10 points off of Ragnarok for the Sony tax and add 10 points to Sonic for the Sonic curve scale, they basically have the same score. That's good stuff. We also have, wait a second. We have Mental 9R Gamer, who's been a member for a year. Wow, dude. Thank you so much for that. He drops a very generous $10 super chat. Says God of War Ragnarok is a cross-gen game. Is another silly battle cry. Who cares? Looks great in my humble opinion. I don't have a PlayStation 5. I'll pick it up on PC next year or whenever it's released. Yeah, I think you get that in 6 months, dude. Like honestly, middle of next year, I think God of War Ragnarok releases on PC because the core you're leaving. Sony is leaving millions of dollars on the table when they don't do these day-and-date releases. I just don't understand it, but that's why they bought Nixus. We also have so that was the one I missed. Thank you so much for that, Web Dave. Oh, Smokey, what's going on? He was one of the winners from last Friday's show. Congratulations again. He drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I'm buying Sonic to help Boom win this bet. Who's with me? Listen, I'm not going to say that I cheated, but I bought 3 copies myself. And I'm not trying to win the election. I bought one. Yes, I bought 2 on Switch, one for my awesome nephew, Tyler, who got his game yesterday, and he's loving it. I got it on myself for the Switch, which I put out there. And I also downloaded it for the Xbox. I bought it for the Xbox as well because I really want to see this game running at the highest quality on the Series X. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this week. Wow, what a way to start the week. We hit all 4 topics, a couple of bonus ones that were in there. Let's get to the outros because I'm coming back here in 25 minutes to sit down again and talk about Sonic, show you the footage that I recorded, give you the scores. We'll talk about it, whether or not this is a miss or a hit. I happen to really, really enjoy it. And I'm not being a stan. I'm really enjoying the game for what it is. It's basically Breath of the Wild with Sonic. That is the best way I can describe it right now. It is a lot to do. It is big. It's an open world. And there's some RPG elements to it, which are really, really cool. But I'll get into that later on when you see it live on the screen. Web Dave, brother.
Yep.
You don't got a guest this week.
No, I do have one next week, though.
But you do have a big one next week. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but
Oh, yeah. I'll talk about it.
Where they could subscribe to your YouTube channel, reach out and hear some of the greatest interviews in gaming, and more importantly, talk to you on the socials.
Well, it's Outbreak Podcast, or on Twitter, I'm WebDave, and looking for that blue check mark soon. Just kidding. But yeah, no, dude, it's I got next week will be slow-mo backslap, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice.
DPS gaming channel, he's big on that. He's great, and it's going to be a good.
Almost a good dude. Yeah, smart.
Yeah, it's
Very
going to
smart.
be a good one, and I'm really looking forward to what you got coming up. So I'm really excited for that. Oh, you got another super chat dropped in, by the way.
Oh, okay. I thought, oh, yeah, Lady Foxfire Gaming. Oh, she's
you go.
awesome. How you doing, Lady Foxfire? Thank you for not only being here, but dropping a very generous $5 super chat. And she says, "Great show, everyone. Mrs. Boom, I truly appreciate your streams and staying up to date on gaming news. And getting both God of War and Sonic on a Foxy deal. I love it. See, that's the way you do it. And if you're not following her, you should be, because she does do these Foxy deals where she tells you where sales are. Follow her on Twitter. It's at Lady Foxfire on Twitter. Tell her that Boom sent you. She's definitely an amazing member of the community. Thank you so much for and she meant Mr. Yeah, I thought that. I thought you were going to say Mrs. for something else, but thank you for being here, Lady Foxfire. Super appreciate the generosity. But Fuzzy, sell your brand, brother. You're going to be back here on Friday, but you're also going to be doing several podcasts until then. Talk about where they can check you out on other programs, but more importantly, reach out to you on social media and check out your YouTube channel.
Just want to thank you for having me on here. It was awesome getting the week started with all this gaming news, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be some more rolling in here between now and Friday. Thank you for everyone in the chat for interacting with us and listening and checking us out. And don't forget to hit that like button. But for any of those of you that want to hear my rambling on anything gaming related, just follow me on Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on FSP later on tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fun Speculations channel. You can also find me here on Friday morning, Breakfast with Boom at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. And then later that evening, Xbox Ultimate on Fun Speculations channel at 9 p.m. Eastern. The Shop Podcast on PTK Blam's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then right back here on the Xbox Lunch Break Special at 12 p.m. next Monday. Look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate you being a part of these two shows each and every week, and love to hear and see what you're doing, especially in your channel. For anyone that is a racing fan, you need to check out Fuzzy's channel for sure, because he does go into detail and occasionally goes a little off his kilter when they do things that make him mad. I love it. It's good stuff. Crazy Lou Gaming, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the Xbox International podcast with your two cohorts who are in the chat right now. And also, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Oh man, you guys can find me at Twitter at Crazy Louis Gaming, where I say good morning, say what's up, and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And also, you can find me here on Monday mornings at the Xbox Lunch Break Special, here with you guys, hanging out each and every weekend. Also, you can find me in Xbox International Podcast at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays with my brother Silent Cypher, my brother Sourglow, and our new awesome panel member from the Plume Network, Mr. Big Plume. He has joined us to be part of the panel. Man, awesome guy. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel, which he is our hashtag insider, and he's trying to reach 10K. So, guys, go ahead and subscribe. Awesome fellow. Really, he's our hashtag insider. But yes, that's where you can find me. Have a great day, everybody. And man, thank you for this awesome episode. I had a lot of fun with you guys today. Like always, in chat, you guys are always awesome. Love you all today.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for being here. Thank you so much for the super chats. We definitely appreciate those, especially the channel memberships that continue to come in. If you're considering you want to support Double Barrel Gaming, head over to the channel of the About page, and you'll see where you can click on and become a channel member. There are two tiers. There's a $5 and a $10 that you can donate per month And the perks are, well, it allows Mrs. Boomstick and I to do these big giveaways. And we have another one coming up in December. It is the biggest giveaway the channel has ever done. We're giving away $1,000 in digital gifts in one show, 1 2-hour Breakfast with Boom. It is our 5th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. And obviously, it's all digital. We used to mail stuff out, and it was really costing us a lot of money to get stuff, especially to our friends over in the UK. I mean, we just paid it, and it is what it is. But now we're just doing all digital, so it makes it more cost effective, and we can give more. And yes, we're giving away $1,000 in 2 hours. 500 up front, 500 on the back end, and all you got to do is be a channel member for the first $500 on digital gifts, and for the second $500, all you have to do is be in the live chat. I'll be making the official announcement on when that is going on towards the end of December. But ladies and gentlemen, I will see you back here in 20 minutes on another episode of the Xbox International Podcast, where we're going to be talking about Sonic. It's going to be just me, 60 minutes, about 45 or 60 minutes. I'm going to show you gameplay that I recorded last night, and we're going to talk about the scores and everything that's going on with Sonic. Thank you again for being here. And of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that is important to me. Hopefully one day be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special.